Hi, this is Edward Troxel. In today's tutorial, we're going to start a new series that came about because of a forum post wanting to know how to cut off dead sections that are across multiple tracks. Let's take a quick look at that post. So here's the actual post. We wanted to remove gaps across multiple tracks, and he included an image here. And basically, wherever these red areas are, he wanted that section removed and everything else scooted left that amount. So let's take a look and see how we might approach this and see how we can actually get this done. The first thing we need to do is find those red areas. But in talking it over in this forum post, you will see that it was actually suggested that we find the not red areas first, and then we can swap that to the red areas. So let's see how we can look for those red areas. The goal here was to go through each track, and so we went through track 1 and event 1, and basically what we're wanting to do is create a region around this event. Then we go to the next event on track 1, and we're wanting to create a region around that event. Basically what we're doing is putting regions around known noise. Then we go to the next track. Here's the first event on that track. Well, we overlap this region number 1, and so realistically what we can do is just extend that over to cover that entire area. Then we come to the next event, we'd create a region. Then we come over to this next event, we'd create a region. And then we come over to this next event and we create a region. Now we come down to the third track, and we want to create a region, but we don't need to create a region because this one is totally inside region number 3, and so we don't need to create a new region. And then there is nothing else on that track. Now we get down to the next track. When we highlight this one, our goal would be to move this to the left so that our region expands to fill everywhere where there is noise. And then we would look at this one, in which case essentially this is going to move to here. We're going to end up with one overlapping region. We will eventually get rid of one of these because we don't need them overlapping. Instead, we need this one to go all the way out to here, and then get rid of number 5 instead of ending right here. So when we run the script that we have, go back to where it's in its empty state, and we run our script, you will see that I ended up with 1, 2, 3, and 4. Region number 5 was gone. So it did successfully do what we wanted to do, but let's see how we got it to do that. So we're starting with all of our standard stuff, our usings that we've had on everyone. This is our header stuff, then our public Vegas variable called myVegas, then our main routine, which accepts the Vegas variable and sets myVegas equal to Vegas. Now the part we're going to look at today is place regions around audio. That routine is right here, and it is actually very short. We just go for each track, my track, in the project.tracks, and then for each track event, event, EVNT, in my track.events, we're going to add a region around that event. Of course, adding the region around that event is where it gets tricky. And so we created an entire routine called add region. So now here is the add region routine, and we're passing at the event that we want to pass it to. First thing I'm doing is creating an event under region Boolean variable, and I'm setting that to false. Then I want to go through each of my regions, called my region, in the project.regions, and then I'm getting the region end for that region is the region position plus the region length. Regions don't have an end time code listed, so you have to calculate that based on the position and the length. So now, if my event.start is greater than or equal to my region.position, and my event.start is less than or equal to region.end, then my event is under a region. So if it starts inside a region, it is under an existing region. Do the same thing with our event end. If event end is greater than or equal to the position, and event end is less than or equal to the end, then my end point is inside the region, so this event is under a region. So in those two cases, we would set event under region to true. Now, if the event is under a region, was it the start that was under the region? Was it the end that was under the region? Was it both? So let's check to see if the event start is less than position. In other words, I'm starting before the region begins. If I start before the region begins, then I want to set the region.position to the start location of my event because it is farther left. Then if the event.length is greater than the region length, then I'm going to set the myRegion.length equal to the event length. Otherwise, I'm going to set the myRegion.length equal to the region end minus the event start. So if the event is longer than the region, we want to make sure that our region gets the longer length of the two. So now our region end equals the myRegion.position plus the myRegion.length again. We reset that because we potentially changed both the start and the length. And so we need to reset where our region end is now located. Now, if the event.end is greater than the region end, then we want to make it longer yet again. So myRegion.length equals event.end minus the region.position. Now the question is, do we have another marker, and did we extend into that marker? If myRegion.index plus 1 is not equal to the regions.count, what we're doing is, remember, the indexes are zero based. So if there were 5 indexes and I was on index number 4, 4 plus 1 equals 5. If that is not equal to 5, then I want to check that next region because it exists. If it equals 5, then I can't check the next region because there are no more regions. So if the index plus 1 is not equal to the count, then if the regions, and I'm looking specifically at the myRegion.index plus 1, if the next region dot position is less than the event end, then what I want to do is create a new end time code, which is going to be the region plus 1 position plus the regions dot length. What we're getting is the new ending position from the next region. So the new end is the next region's position plus the next region's length. Then if the new end is greater than the current region's position plus length, I'm going to set the current length equal to the new end minus the position of the current region, and then I'm going to get rid of that next region. So if we extend it into the next region, we are now moving the endpoint to be the end of that region, and then we are getting rid of that region. And then we come down here and we have this break. That is going to break us out of the loop because we've already looked at our regions at this point, and that is going to break us out of the loop. If it was not under a region, then we need to add a new region to the timeline. And we need to add it from the event start to the event length. And I just told it to throw a name in there called audio present. The add region to timeline routine is really very simple. The add region to timeline, we're passing at the start time, the length, and the title. So we are now creating a new region variable called new region, which is a new script portal.vegas.region, and we're passing it the region start, region length, and the title. Once that new region has been created, then we're going to myvegas.project.regions.add and adding that new region. So we already saw it run on that one test project. Let's test it on another project. So this is a more complicated one where we had region 1, region 2, region 3. We have a region 4, which totally encases region 6, and region 7 overlaps it. We have region 5 over here, then region 8, 9, and 10. So we have regions around everywhere where there is sound, but we have a couple that are overlapping here, and we eventually want to get rid of that overlap, and we will do that in the next tutorial. Same thing with this one. We have a region around all of the first part of the audio, but we have a second region that is totally encased by region number 1, then region number 3, and region number 4. So here we have another project, and if we run it on this project, you will see that we have 5 regions. We have region number 1 here, region number 2 is right here, then we have region number 3, region number 4, and then region number 5. Number 5 did not get extended out to here. Number 5 should have ended this much further out. So in looking at the code, let's see what can be changed to make that actually work correctly. And we need to change this little section right here to make that part work correctly. So if the event.start is less than the region.position, and then we set the region.position equal to the event start, but now we need to figure out where the end is supposed to be. If the event.end is greater than the region end, this is the line that we're changing. If the event end is greater than the region end, then we're also changing this line. The length equals the event end, which is our new ending location, minus the region.position, the starting point of that region. So I had a little issue right here on this line. So with this change, let's run it again. And now our region 5 is completely around the talking area. Section 2 is totally encased by region 5, which is what we expected. I knew when tackling this thing that finding the red areas was going to be the toughest part, and the toughest part ended up being actually finding the talking areas. And so now this part of the script, we have now found where the talking areas are. Then we need to reduce the number of regions that we have to get rid of any extraneous regions, and then we will convert that into finding the areas where there is no talking. So as you can see, this one has now found us the regions where there is talking, and you saw that we did have a little error in there, and so we got that fixed. And now that that is fixed, we can go ahead and proceed with the script to find the rest of the stuff. So subscribe, tune in for the next tutorial, and we'll continue and see what it takes to make this work. Please sign up at www.jettv.com and subscribe on YouTube to get further notifications on when new videos are presented.